guys, Eddie here of Cardfight Belfast, and I'm back with a deck profile. For this profile, it is on my red hybrids. So I thought I'd do the profile on my red hybrids with the recent reveals from Japan for BT17, showing us that we are getting hybrid support. Let's go! In the form of the Ancient Greymon and Ancient Garurumon lines, and the fact that the Ancient Greymon and Ancient Garuru are also Digicross is going to be very fun to see. So I'm looking forward to upgrading this deck with those new cards and just seeing what is now going to be possible for the hybrids for hybrid decks in general, considering that I have 3 hybrid decks. I have red hybrids, blue hybrids, and green hybrids. And black, sorry, so 4. Just gotta build yellow, purple. That's gonna be fun. But nonetheless, let us get into the profile. And if anyone is wondering what is with the pony love sleeves, that is the reason for the sleeves is because that is the name of the Digimon team I am on. We are Team Love Love Love. While yes, I am also part of Cardfight Belfast, this is my Digimon team primarily. So yeah, so if you see these sleeves, then you'll know I am part of that Digimon team. So without further ado, we will get into this. Also, just before I start the profile, getting into the profile, this lovely mat here was actually given to me last night at my locals by a good friend and teammate. It goes by the username Kitsuna. So if she's watching this, I want to thank her again, even though I've done I don't know how many times, because I absolutely love D-Brigades, the Digipolice. I am maining that deck right now, and I am loving every part of it. So, to start off with the Digi-Eggs, 4 copies of Digimon. Now, originally for this deck, I used to run Gurimon. I had to think of it for a second. I used to run Gurimon in this deck, and it worked well for a time. And then when I was just looking through my bulk one day, I noticed I had the Digimons and thought to myself, that would actually work better, considering the fact that with the way the red hybrids can have the ability to delete opponent's Digimon, the extra 1000 off the inheritable, which I should probably show if my camera will want to focus. Okay, there's a focus, I think. So my turn, add 1000 to the maximum your DP based deletion can delete. So if I go up the line with, say, into my BT12 Emperor Grey, and I can only delete a 6k, these will add 1000. So if I have all 4 of them out, that 6k deletion can get bumped up to 10,000 DP. So really, really good. So to start off with the rookies, I am running 4 copies of Flamon from BT7. So this is a good searcher, because on play, yeah, I have to show the pre-release one. So on play, reveal top 4 cards of your deck and add 1 card with hybrid, Susano, or Takuya among them, and then place the rest at the bottom. So it only adds 1. It's not as good of a searcher as the I think it's the BT6 Flamon. Or is it BT4? No, it's BT4, sorry. The BT4 Flamemon can add 2 cards, whereas this only adds 1. And then it's inheritable on deletion. Play the tamer Takuya from your hand without paying the cost. So if it's in sources and your Digimon gets deleted, you get a free tamer. So pretty self-explanatory. And next up is 3 copies of BT12 Flamemon. So with this Flamemon, again, it's an on-play. By trashing 1 Digimon card with the hybrid trait, draw 2. So essentially, trash a card from your hand and get an extra 2 cards. So you're +1 on your hand, and then inheritable on your turn. While this Digimon has hybrid or 10 warrior traits, it gains 2000 DP. So it can, so its inheritable can also work with ancient Greymon. So it is really good for just boosting DP that way. Then next up is 2 copies of the BT4 Flamemon. Now again, like I said, this is a better searcher than what the BT7 Flamemon is, but the only reason I am running 2 is just because the deck was tight for space, and there's another Flamemon that I have that I really want, that I did want to run, which you'll see after this one. But again, its on play is reveal top 3 cards of your deck, then add 1 Digimon with hybrid and or red tamer among them, and then place the rest of the bottom. So if you get 2 cards off this, if you hit a hybrid and a tamer, you get them both to hand, and then you're only placing 1 to the bottom instead of putting 3 to the bottom. So really good search, in my opinion. And next up, the last of the Flamemons is 2 copies of the BT6 Flamemon. So with the BT6 Flamemon, it has no effects, main effects, but it's inheritable. States, if my camera will like to focus. It's been a pain. Let's see, hold on. Check in, zoom in here. There we go. That's actually much better. So your turn, when your Digimon with hybrid or 10 warriors in its form or type, it gains piercing. So with this, it gains pierce. Your Digimon can gain piercing, and that on, especially if this is under a Takuya, the Warp Takuya that went into, say, the BT12 Emperor Grey. That Emperor Grey is hitting for 3 security, and if your opponent blocks, you're deal piercing. So yeah, that's why I'm running 2 of this, and then to round off the level 3s, a single copy of Pokemon. Now again, as I said, space in the deck for the rookies was tight. If I want, I could run more rookies, but it means I'd have to compromise on either champions, ultimates, or megas, and I don't really want to compromise on those at all. So with Pokemon, is on play is reveal top 5 cards to your deck, and then add 1 hybrid or 10 warriors and traits and 1 tamer among them, and put the rest at the bottom. So again, a good searcher. And then your turn, when one of your tamers digivolves, gain 2 memory. So you're getting your hybrid digivolution on top of a tamer for free, essentially. And to get that evolution for the cost of 0 is really, really good. So we'll move into the level 4s now. So to start off, we'll go for the level 4s is 4 copies of a Gunimon from BT12. Now, I do have some of the older Agunis, but this one is just so good. So, it can Digivolve on top of a Burning Greymon for the cost of 1. So, doing a little slide evolution, basically. And then it just states that it can Digivolve on top of a Takuya as a level 3 Digimon. And then, on deletion, play a Flamemon from hand, suspended without paying cost. And on deletion, it's the exact same as the BT7 Flamemon. Just play 1 Takuya from your hand. So, yeah. Basically, the only real reason for this is obviously 1, it can go on top of your tamer, and 2, it can go on top of a Burning Greymon, any of the Burning Greymons, for the cost of 1. So you're using up very little memory, and you're getting extra draws off it for your Digivolution, so works out that way. The next from, again, so another card from BT12 is 4 copies of Burning Greymon. So, again, now, for this one, it does state it costs 3 to Digivolve on top of a level 3, which is why you don't really want to Digivolve into this one, on top of your Flamemons. But this can Digivolve on top of a Takuya for the cost of 2. So, works out well that way. And then your turn, when this Digimon, when Digivolving, this Digimon gets 2,000 for the turn. And then inheritable, when this Digimon has hybrid or 10 warriors trait, plus 2,000. So yeah, and again, it can Digivolve on top of a Gunimon for 1. So literally, you can do, say, like so this. Go on top of a Gunimon for 1 into Burning Grey, get the 2,000, then Digivolve into a Goonie again, who's going to get the 2,000 off the Digivolution effect, but then the inheritable, which is another 2,000, so that's up 4,000, so that's gone from 5,000 to 9. So, it's a little shenanigans I like to do, and I do it quite often with this deck. So, that is that for that one. And then finally, to round off the level 4s, is 2 copies of the BT7 Burning Greymon. So, now with this one, it does say it can Digivolve on top of level 4 for the cost of 1. So, again, exact same with the BT12s. It just doesn't have that special Digivolution text box. And then, again, but this one states it can go on top of any Red Tamer for the cost of 2. Which makes it very versatile. Versatile and usable in most red decks. Well, if anyone ever wants to play red in their red decks for hybrid to get hybrid for game. And then when Digivolving, if you have a hybrid in trait or Takuya is in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 4,000 DP or less. So again, you have a Gunimon. You go into this, or if you have a Goonie, the Burning Grey, you can put this Burning Grey on top of the BT12 Burning Grey. Try and pop something with 4,000, but then if you have Gigimon as the egg for that line, that 4,000 deletion goes to 5,000. So, getting getting all rookies and some champions. Okay, so we'll get into the level 5s, the ultimates, which I will admit there's not very many. But staple one is 4 copies of Aldemon. Just put this one over here. So Aldemon is really, really good. One you definitely want to trash off the BT12 Flamemon. But when your Digimon with a tamer in its Digivolutions, with Digivolve into this card, you can reduce cost by 2. So it goes from 3 to 1. And then with the new, I think it's the new Burning Greymon. It's either the new Aldemon, Agunimon, It's either new Agumon or new Burning Greymon can reduce the Digivolution cost of going into this by 1. And then if you have Tamer, it reduces it by 2, so it goes to 0. So that's one of the plays I really can't wait for. And then if this card is hybrid in its traits in its Digivolution cards, it gets 4,000. So it goes from 8 to 12, and then whatever DP buffs you get off the Burning Greymon or Flamemons that have their inheritables. And then inheritable is, while this Digimon has hybrid or 10 warriors in traits, you don't activate the security effective option cards. So I have hit a lot of security bombs. One being Megadeth. I've hit Megadeths, I've hit Gigadeaths, I've hit Ultimate Flare. Is it Ultimate Flare? Yeah, Ultimate Flare. Basically, I've hit the security options you don't want to hit in security, and with my Emperor Grey, and Aldemon has just said, nope, you're not getting it. So that's why I absolutely love this card. And then last for the ultimates, and normally it's just these 4 most hybrid players use. But for me, I have 2 copies of Chimera. So I have this in here just for the sake of getting big stacks. Basically, so obviously DNA, any 2 level 4s of any colors. So yep, pretty self-explanatory. And then when Digivolving, you can place a level 5 underneath from trash. So hence this guy. And then up to 4 of my opponent's Digimon get minus 1,000 for each of the Digimon's colors, which will be 2, so 2,000 because it's a white. And then he gains the colors of the sources, which would be red. So he'd be red, white. And then your turn. This bottom one I never really get. But this Digimon is treated as having all colors. And then while this Digimon has 4 more colors, it gets plus 4,000. So that's the part I don't get. I don't usually get because of 1 color. But that doesn't really bother me. I just do it for the Digivolution and the big Digivolution source stack. Now on to level 6s. So first off is 4 copies of BT12 Emperor Greymon. And yes, I do have 2 different alt arts. I slowly getting this deck to max rarity. So security attack. So it naturally has security attack +1 and when Digivolving. Delete when your opponent's Digimon 6,000 DP or less, as I mentioned with Gigimon. But if you have a hybrid, if you have a red Tamer in your source, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with DP less than or equal to this Digimon's DP instead, and I can get this guy up to some ridiculous DP, let me tell you. And then on deletion, play 1 Takuya Kambara from your hand or trash for their paying cost. So it can recycle your Tamers. So if you use the Warp Takuya or even the Memory Setter, if you Digivolve on top of your Memory Setter and this gets deleted, you're worried, oh no, I'm not going to be able to get set back to 3 memory. This Greymon, Emperor Greymon, will have you covered. So that is that for this Emperor Greymon. And then finally, 2 copies of BT7 Emperor Greymon. This one is the Blitz. And again, yes, alt arts, trying to max rarity. I will get it done eventually. So when Digivolving, Blitz. And then on my turn, when this Digimon is blocked, unsuspended, and gain 1 memory for each Digimon with hybrid in my source. So if you use the Warp Takuya, that's going to be 5. That will be 5 5 memory you're getting back. And considering he costs 4 to digivolve, so if you put your opponent into, say, put your opponent on 3 memory, getting the 5 back, you're at 2. So really, really good. Never really get blocked. None of my opponents have ever blocked that, which is really annoying. And then finally, for Digimon cards, 1 copy of Blitz Omnimon. So self-explanatory. I'm not going to go over what he does. I'm sure everyone in that plays Digimon knows what this Omnimon can do and why it is so good. So, for Tamers, we'll start off with the BT7 Takia Kambata. And I have, yes, the 4 box toppers. I have a problem with trying to max rarity this. So the security effect is on the top, is up in the main box here. So obviously security effect, get to play without paying the cost. And then main, you may put 5 cards with hybrid in their traits from your trash in order to warp Digivolve into Emperor Greymon. Now here's the thing about this that I actually learned. I want to say 6-7 months ago. You can place the 5 hybrids underneath this and not warp into the Emperor Grey. You don't have to do the warp. The warp is not something you have to do because, yes, it states Digivolve it into an Emperor Greymon, but your hand is considered a private area that your opponent has no knowledge of, so how's your opponent going to know if you have an Emperor Greymon or not? So that's something I actually learned, and that means this main, you do it once, put 5 underneath, and so you have still another 5 in trash. On your next turn, you could do this again, place another 5 underneath, that is 10, and then say potentially go into this, which means if it gets blocked, it restarts and you're gaining back 10 memory. That is scary to think about. And then inheritable, which I love the fact that I have Tamers with inheritables. This Digimon gets 2,000. Now, it says this Digimon doesn't state it has to be a hybrid, which is really good. Especially for Omnimon. And then while this Digimon has 10,000 DP or more, gain security attack +1. So, that's why this Tamer is so good. And probably the main one you want to be doing your hybrid Digivolutions on top of. Then to round off the Tamers is 4 copies of the BT12. It's the memory setter. It has to be done. And then inheritable is, again, this Digimon gains +2,000. And while this Digimon is 10,000 DP or more, it gains your turn once per turn. When this Digimon checks your opponent's security, gain 2 memory. Now, a lot of people think with that wording, when it says it checks the security, they think, oh, it has to survive to get the 2 memory. It does not. The check goes through first, then it's the battle if there's, say, 2 Digimon. So it doesn't matter if the Digimon that this is under dies, gets deleted, you still gain the 2 memory. Which is something I'm having to tell people a lot emphasize a lot to people when I play against them with this. And then finally, for options, I'm just gonna put them all on the board on here. 3 copies of Gravity Crush, so gain your extra memory. 3 copies of Atomic Inferno. So it's a nice little its security effect is really good. I'm annoyed that this doesn't have a security effect. It would be really nice if it did. So one of your hybrids gets +3,000 and security attack +1, and it also gains when this Digimon is blocked, gain 3 memory for the turn, which is really good. And then security effect, which is a blanket effect. All of your Digimon gain security attack +1. It doesn't state that it has to be Digimon on board. So if you have one in raising, it also gains the security attack +1. And then finally is a single copy of Gaia Force. So really just that this is just here to get rid of something really big and really annoying. I'm looking at you, Examon and Imperial Dramon. And people, and that, yes, that was a hint at specific players. And they will know who they are. So, that is that. So, that is it for my red hybrid deck. I know it's not the usual red hybrid deck that people are playing, considering I know a lot of people now are playing the likes of Solarmon and stuff in their decks, which I'm not against, but it's just not my style. This is the way I like to play my hybrids. It's worked really well for me. So yeah, that's the way I have mine built, and I am super excited for when the new support comes out in BT17. Although it probably won't be until maybe near the summer, but either way, I'm really happy about that. So yeah, that's it for my deck profile on my red hybrids. If you, as I say in my last video, my last deck profile, which would be my Carpet Vanguard V-Series Riser deck, I do have 3 specific Yu-Gi-Oh decks I can do deck profiles on that have also done very well for me. So if you just want to see them, post it down in the comments, and I will get a deck profile done for them. And I have plenty of Vanguard decks to do profiles on, and I'm getting there with Digimon as well. But that is it for this video, guys. So leave all feedback, please, down in the comments. And until next time, I will see you all later, and take care, Digidestined.